Welcome, everybody, to a special episode of Celluloid and Scotch. I know what you're thinking, but Dan, you did a show earlier today. You barely do 2 in a month normally, 2 in one day. It's 4th of July, celebrating freedom from work, my chains. But don't worry, nobody was around this morning to watch the show except for Perry Comics.
Oh, Perry jumped in? That's good.
Yeah, apparently he loved one of the books she did.
Oh, nice.
So for anybody out there who didn't know, I interviewed comic creator Caitlin Yarsky earlier this morning. Well, morning West Coast, dead set on noon in East Coast. So it's in there. But talking about summer movies, Carlito has decided Jurassic Park was way more important. John and I were just discussing Jurassic Park, our fan casting. But I need to talk about summer movies, and John's here. And joining us, we just had a Gio Ravani Ribisi off beforehand.
We're starting strong.
We're having him the Jeff Goldblum role.
Right. Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. This is starting out cold. So the concept I kind of came up with is we've kind of talked about it in other episodes, like our theater experiences. What were the most memorable? And John and I are kind of old, and we've had a lot of time to watch summer movies.
Right.
And then as we were talking before the show, we're like, man, there was a lot of big summer movies we never saw in the theater. We had to wait a year.
Yeah, we weren't young enough. We weren't old enough. Sorry.
Yeah, there was a year, maybe 2. You had to wait for it to come out on VHS, not this 3-month turnaround we have now. Maybe it got on cable, or you got the edited for TV ABC Sunday night movie.
Yep, that was the way of it.
Man, how things have changed. I remember it was 2 years till Batman 89 came out on VHS.
Oh, wow. Really? I don't remember that length of time, but I do remember seeing it on like HBO or something.
And then Ninja Turtles, I think, was the fastest turnaround at 8 months.
That sounds about right.
They had to cash in as they could.
Those suits aren't cheap, man.
No, and they fell apart too.
I bet with all the activity. Yeah.
Some of them almost died in those suits. So the concept of this show is we are going to pick our 5 theater experiences for a summer blockbuster that we went to. Some of them might not be blockbusters, but ones that we had the most interesting time in the theater. It was like a good experience. And then after that, we're going to start talking about movies, which will be more free-form discussion of like what movies do we gravitate to during the summer? Like what's a movie that you just find yourself every summer watching or has a summer vibe? Because John and I are all about vibes.
Yes.
So we're going to count down from our number 5 down to 1. I will let you go.
Like the best, as far as ending with the best theater experience.
Yes.
Sure. Okay. I will reshuffle a little bit here. All right. I'll go first then. My number 5, I had to include a Marvel movie. And this one had a really great, like, shocking success. And then all of a sudden, everybody's talking about it. You're going back and seeing it again and again. And Iron Man, it was just this fun summer surprise that nobody was expecting. Everybody thought it was going to bomb. It was not going to be this thing. And then everyone was talking about it. Everywhere you went, Robert Downey Jr. was a big star again. And everybody was thinking Iron Man was cool. People wearing Iron Man shirts. And it just felt like it became cool to be a comic book nerd again. I saw this in a packed theater, people just laughing and screaming and cheering.
It was a fun time. It was a summer
it was
popcorn
blast.
movie,
right?
Also, you got to think Robert Downey Jr. was unhireable before that.
100%.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Basically resurrected his career, and Shane Black kind of went on a limb, and so did Jon Favreau.
Yep.
Great first movie.
Yeah. And again, it got a ton of people talking about characters that nobody had been talking about in common conversation beforehand, which was so fun. It was so fun to be able to hang around with people and be like, yeah, I knew Iron Man was a cool character before you.
Samuel L. Jackson comes out as Nick Fury.
Right.
Like the beginning of the after credits.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So this was a really fun experience. I thought the filmmakers really nailed the right tone. The look of the movie was amazing. I thought they pulled off stuff I was not expecting, and the stunts and the effects were really fun. And then, of course, yeah, Downey Jr. just stole the movie. It's so perfectly built around him.
And I actually like Gwyneth Paltrow for the first time since Seven.
Sure. No, she's great as Pepper. And Favreau's great as Happy. He's got a great part in this.
And that was the last time we saw that version of Rhodey.
Yeah, one and done. Yes, one and done. So yeah, I had to at least include, because these have been a staple of summer movie going for my daughter's entire lives. So this was a real fun movie experience.
And some would say the Marvel movies ruined theater.
Right?
The Twitter snobs.
I mean, I've heard people saying that ever since, Spielberg, and we'll mention his name a bunch tonight, but ever since he had, some huge summer blockbuster success, it seemed like people were saying, oh, Spielberg ruined movies. And, he changed this art form into a popcorn summer movie extravaganza. And, movies before I was watching well, we'll get into Spielberg, I guess, a little later, but I did watch some interesting videos on the history of blockbusters and how movies rolling out all at the same time across the nation wasn't really a thing until after Star Wars. And then it was like, no, we're going to roll things out nationwide, same day release. It's going to be this blitz across the nation.
My number five is not as fun. Saving Private Ryan.
Ooh.
Between the opening of that film, which is so freaking intense, where you sit down and all of a sudden you're already like brought into the movie. The cast was fantastic. Bit of like who's who in that. I actually did not hate Vin Diesel in this movie. And
he was in his Iron Giant era.
Who was that other actor who was in it? He's more of a character.
Pepper. What's his name?
Barry Pepper was the
Barry
sniper.
Pepper.
But the one who played the captain.
Ed Burns.
No, it wasn't Ed Burns. It was.
He's in it. He plays the like second in command or whatever under Hanks. Ed Burns, the director actor.
It was a older guy. He was in a ton of stuff.
Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore, who ruined his career, but fuck, man, like he's good in it. Everybody is pretty damn good in that movie.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm in a theater watching just adults crying. And for a movie to elicit that behavior, and I saw people at the storming of the beach get up and walk out.
Yeah.
Again, for a movie to elicit that kind of, and I found myself at the end like tearing up.
Sure.
Because that whole scene with the elder version of Matt Damon, just did I live a good life? Like, did he die for nothing? Just, it was a powerful movie.
It really is. No, I do burn on that movie a fair amount. There's some story structure things that drive me crazy about it. But the truth is the movie packs an incredible intensity, visually stunning, actors all really, really strong. And for me, it's the bookends that kind of irk me, just because it seems to be told from Matt Damon's perspective, but the dude's not there for anything that really happens in the whole freaking movie. And they try to trick you by having the zoom in on Grandpa's eyes and then the look up from Hanks on his eyes, and it makes it seem like Hanks is telling the story, which is a cheap cinematography trick that doesn't add up in the end when you're like, wait, why did we zoom in on Hank's eyes? He's not telling the story. He's not the old man. Like, it doesn't make sense.
And I'll say, for a movie that intense, the pacing was not uneven. Like, it just
No.
kept moving.
Once it gets to the beach and you're in the past, all the stuff in the past works for me. It's just the bookends that are in the present, whatever, that drive me up the wall.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a nitpick, I guess, because I didn't even think of that part, because like once you're at the beach, it's like I forgot everything else.
For sure. Yeah, and there's so many strong sequences after the beach too, and when they raid that little hilltop where there's a machine gun nest, and then they have the Hanks reveals his profession and what he's looking forward to getting when he goes home again. And there's some really strong moments all the way through, for sure.
Barry Pepper, that sniper fight in the tower.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And again, like we'll talk about this, that Spielberg is very good at creating moments.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
I've got 3 or 4 of his movies here surrounding me.
He really yokes the emotional chain with you. Like, it's just, but this movie in particular was the one I was just like, fuck. Like, and I'm watching because I live in a very military community of retired. So there's elderly retired just crying, and I'm just sitting there like, fuck. Like, I maybe should have gone to a later showing of this and not gone to the noon showing.
Right. No, yeah, I want to say I saw it that summer, and it was what a fair amount of years after Schindler's List, and he is now like revisiting World War II, and it was a big to do. Everybody's talking about what this movie could represent, and the opening sequence, it was on the lips of everybody when they were talking about this movie.
And I don't remember it winning any awards. I don't think it did.
The big deal was that it was kind of up against Shakespeare in Love, and that Miramax did this big behind the scenes push.
It was
and
that
Shakespeare,
year.
Yeah, Shakespeare in Love swept the Oscars that year, or at least a bunch of the big categories.
And from what I understand, the Weinstein spent a shitload of money.
I think Spielberg still won Best Director, but I might be wrong on that.
I think he did. I just remember it was up for a ton of awards, and
it might have won screenplay or something else as well. But yeah, Hanks didn't win picture. It didn't win. Everybody thought it was going to win all the big awards, but I think it just won for Spielberg and screenplay.
Yeah. So that for me was like my number 5, and I could have gone a couple of different ways with it, but I was like, you know what? I saw grown men crying during this, and it was powerful to kind of be in the presence of.
Oh, of course. Nothing on my list is going to come close to that level of heaviness. In fact, I'm going the complete opposite direction with my number 4 pick, because this movie was something, again, everybody was talking about when it came out. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, have you seen this movie? It is freaking hilarious. You're going to die laughing. It was everywhere you went, something about Mary was happening. And you watched this with an audience full of people, and you could not hear dialogue because people were laughing so loud all the way through it.
Franks and beans.
It's so quotable now, but that I distinctly remember being in the movie theater watching this with just a packed house, and everybody's on the floor laughing, and everybody it's just raucous in the theater. And then afterwards, again, everybody's making those jokes. Everybody's like, you're seeing the funky hair that she's got on the cover here, on all sorts of little commercials. And, it's a constant joke. How raunchy can comedy get? This was like a throwback to the Caddyshack, of days gone by.
Farrelly Brothers.
The Farrelly Brothers had done a couple of movies like Dumb and Dumber before this, and they had done Kingpin before this. But this was obviously their biggest hit, and I mean, everywhere you went, people were talking about this movie. And the experience of watching comedies with a crowd is really important, and it's something that I don't think we do as much anymore, because comedies don't often get made like they used to get made. But seeing this with an audience was spectacular. I could not. I'm so glad I got to see it that way the first time. So there you go.
Did I bring my? Trying to see if I brought the disc of the next one. I did not, unless it's buried in here. Okay, I did not bring it with me. So my next one, Inception. Watching that in IMAX for the first time, and that movie kind of broke my brain watching it because the way the effects were, the open ending to kind of choose your own adventure ending.
Yeah.
And I think it was the first time I kind of walked out. I was like, all right, I really need to see what more Christopher Nolan's going to do.
Sure.
Like, I remember people were like, oh, well, he's the next Ridley Scott. He's the next James Cameron. I was like, no, he's doing everything as much practical as possible. So no, he's neither of them. But
yeah, that experience in the theater was wild. The rotating like hotel room fight with Jogo, so fantastic.
I also think the one thing I thought was brilliant by Nolan is he leveraged Warner Brothers, Legendary, to say, listen, I'll do these Batman movies, but in between every one of those movies, I get to do one of mine. And you guys are going, I don't have a blank check, but I have a blank check.
As long as I keep making those movies successful, right?
Because
you should see it, Corky. You'll dig it, man. It is a real cinema experience.
It is a trippy ass movie. All the actors are top notch. And listen, anytime you get Michael Caine as a supporting actor, you're in for a good time.
Right.
But I can't imagine without him having that deal, we ever get The Prestige. I'm not sure we ever get Dunkirk.
Maybe. I think at that point, once he wrapped, I think the Dark Knight trilogy, I think he could write his own check a little bit and kind of just, this is what I'm making next. Pay me.
I can't remember if Prestige was before Inception or if Inception before Prestige.
I think it was Prestige and then Inception, but I'm not. It feels that way.
It could be. I'd have to look at when The Illusionist came out because that Ed Norton movie came out the same goddamn summer.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie to me, just, I'm not a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan at all. But just everything in that movie worked. The subtle clues the whole way through of what's going on. That's when we did the Prestige episode where I was like, holy shit. The movie is based on the Prestige that they said. Like, they're showing you how to, just the whole trick, the magic trick is the movie.
Yeah.
The way Michael Caine explains the trick.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Corey, I will lend it to you if you have a 4K player, or I'll let you get my digital copy to watch because it's worth watching. It is fantastic.
100%.
Frustrating, but so that is my number 4.
Yeah, and Carlito's going to be very happy with us because we're going from your Nolan pick to my Nolan pick now. Because I'm going with Dark Knight. This was a wild lead in to this movie theater experience. You had
the AR thing, the teaser.
You had the viral marketing campaign that was just so different and so unusual, and Heath Ledger's face and graffiti and stuff all over the place. And then you had the violence in theaters that occurred, like the scary the scary violent theater experience. And then people genuinely scared to go see this movie, and it had nothing to do with the film, but just people's reactions to it were so intense. And so you go and you sit down, and it felt like a comic book made real, not a comic book transferred to the big screen, but a comic book made like real. It felt real and could happen, and it felt scary in that way. And of course, Heath Ledger's performance just towering over the whole thing.
Which was one of the biggest things beforehand. They're like, oh, Brokeback Mountain's going to be
right.
But the best thing they did, they released that 10-minute teaser in IMAX of the bank heist, and I think that really took away a lot of people's Ledger's gonna suck as Joker, because that whole scene happens, and they finish it, and it's like, fuck, that's great.
Yeah, it's so strong. But yeah, there was just something about going into the theater to see this that really just had a different kind of vibe, and then you came out of it just feeling like you'd been through the ringer. There were so many powerful moments. The movie,
Ledger had passed already.
Ledger had passed, and it was just, in the end, it was just power. It was just power. It was genuinely supremely powerful.
Terrible third act.
I'm okay with the third act. It still works for me. I'm sad that they killed off Two-Face. That seems unnecessary to me. But
they should have just got rid of that whole last part with Two-Face and saved that for the third part. I would have been cool with an open-ended. Not everybody has to die.
No, not at all.
But solid movie, and again, like, there was worry about it, and then all of a sudden Jared Leto's Joker came out. I was like, fuck, man, I feel so much better prior to, like, Heath Ledger being the Joker than I did for Jared Leto.
Right.
Yeah, that was... I think still Batman Begins is my favorite.
Of the Nolan trilogy?
Yeah. Just because, really, if that didn't work, nothing else was going to work. But I think Rises is probably the weakest of it, and Nolan's probably
I
the
think
first
that's not
to
even
admit
a question. I think that last one is really flawed internally. It has some big flaws for me, but that's neither here nor there.
Loved Anne Hathaway, though.
Yes, of course.
The Two Fairies. Yeah, I didn't love that, but it was a cool, like, Sophie's Choice moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does midnight showings anymore now.
I feel like we still have them out here, but I don't go. I'm too old to want to go.
That's true. I work with Cowboy Corky, and he wants to go see Superman at 11 o'clock next week, and I was like, ooh, that's too late for me. That's a 2.5 hour movie.
It really sounds late to me as well.
Yeah. So my number 3, Terminator 2.
Great pick. I came close to picking that.
That was the biggest movie of that summer. With the liquid technology effects, which James Cameron, there was not that kind of CG animation was not happening back then.
Right.
And Robert Patrick was such a good bad guy in it. And seeing Arnold become kind of the good guy, it had a crazy Guns N' Roses soundtrack. Like, the hype machine on that movie was insane. And Linda Hamilton became this badass final girl. Like, there was a lot of great moments in that movie. I think the end isn't the best, and just that the theater experience of it, because I mean, the theater was king back then. And that movie, everybody had been waiting for Terminator 2 for 11 years.
Something like that, yeah.
Because that was 91, 92.
Yeah. And I think ultimately, it piggybacked on the evolution of Arnold's career into being this hero. And so it did a great job of building on that. But yeah, the theater experience was so amazing. The sound effects were so strong. And the stunts, the car crashes and the stunts were incredible.
Oh, under the LA, the tunnel that they're going through with the motorcycle. The cop helicopter, I think.
The spillway. Yeah, so cool.
Spillway, that's it. Like that, there's some great moments in that. Of course, quotable. Come with me if you want to live.
Right.
Just
hasta la vista.
Yeah, there's just so much good, and then him trying to teach Arnold like all the lingo and stuff.
Right.
And then I watched that movie. I'm like, man, what happened to Edward Furlong's career? And it gets a little sad.
No, it's powerful.
Yeah, a great movie. I think it was a better movie experience than it was a movie, but in that space and time, James Cameron had, I think he had just done The Abyss before that, or The Abyss happened after that.
It's right around there. It might have been before,
They
I
were,
think. Yeah.
I can't remember which direction it was because I know Aliens definitely had come out like 5 years before.
Yes. Oh yeah. Aliens was way before.
Yeah. But that was like my moment in time where like I just walking out of the theater just mesmerized by what I just watched.
Sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I still get on my dad's case because somehow he fell asleep when we watched it. So that's an
I had a
ongoing
guy at
joke in
work
our household.
I have a guy at work who fell asleep during The Matrix.
Oof. That's impressive.
You're next.
All right, top two. These were the two that came to mind instantly when you mentioned this idea to me. These were the two that I just was like film going experiences that burned into my brain in the summertime. And of course, one of them is Spielberg. So this is my first Spielberg mention. I thought about a lot of Spielberg movies, but I've consistently mentioned the sound and special effects and seeing this. There's an amazing movie theater near me that has this amazing massive screen, non-IMAX screen, but it's incredibly huge, and the sound system is so incredible. And I was genuinely horrified watching Jurassic Park. It was an incredible movie going experience. That whole opening sequence with the sound of the raptor in the cage and pulling the guy in, and you're just like, oh my God. And then you build to the T-Rex escape.
The
And
puddle
again,
as they're walking
yeah.
in.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. And of course, the visual effects are stunning, but for me, the theatrical experience is about the sound and the way the sound design works. I was riveted the whole time. There's a ton of Spielberg love that needs to happen when it comes to summer, but this was a theater going experience that I will never be able to duplicate. That first time seeing this in a movie theater and having that sound system rocked to its core. So good.
I feel like Spielberg could be its own episode of like him
Right?
versus Zemeckis.
I mean, yes.
So there's a Spielberg movie it didn't make my list, but I thought about it. And it's so off the radar that probably you'd be like, what's wrong with you? War of the Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that in the theater. I had a great fucking time watching that. I was one of maybe 10 people in the theater because I went to like a super late showing of it, but
His films are always, I think, best seen in a theater, and I think they have that. They're designed for that environment, Minority Report or whatever. Like I think they just give you all the intense vibes, and he, like you said, he creates moments, right? Emotional moments.
Oof. All right, my number
Top
two.
two, yeah.
The Avengers.
Mm.
The Joss Whedon one, not the one with Ralph Fiennes in it.
Good. That's a success.
This movie was so much stinking fun to watch in the theater because just everything that should in your head should not have worked was working. I was like, how the fuck are they going to get these people? And then you have Loki come in, but acting like a freaking Bond villain during it, where he's evil and he's loving it.
Yes.
And Ruffalo taking over as the Hulk there was some not great talk beforehand because he was taking over for Ed Norton, who was a reported pain in the ass to work with, and Marvel blacklisted him. And just everything worked. It was fun. Like, of course, they had to have the we don't get along, but darn it, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Everything in that movie, and I was just like, how is this working? Like, why am I having so much fun? Because none of this should be working.
I think it's a real confluence of a lot of things. Specifically, I think Whedon had been doing enough with Buffy, Angel, and Firefly that he knew how to write an ensemble story really well. So he could weave in all of these pieces really well. His screenplay is fantastic.
And we get the after credit scene, and I was like, all right, here we go again. But it was so well done. Like it worked. And I just remember walking out of the theater. My friend texted me. He goes, "How was it?" I was like, "I can't believe it fucking worked." And I had so much fun. Like I was there on a Thursday afternoon, just sitting there going, "All right, well, let's see what happens."
Yep.
Because that's
No, I
basically
remember
you're hoping for
waiting
the
in
best.
line for hours to see it with a bunch of friends, and the theater was packed, and people were so hyped on it at that point after so many lead up films. And it was a real exciting summer experience for sure.
And like I even had that thing with like Guardians of the Galaxy came out. I got out of the theater and I was on a first date with this woman, and she goes, "Why are you like smiling?" I was like, "Because I want to go back and tell younger me
Yeah.
that fucking Rocket Raccoon was actually in a movie." And then she's like, "Oh, you're a nerd." I was like, "Yes, give me my moment."
Yep. Buckle up.
That was another one that came out in spring, so also it was hard to determine what was considered summer season.
Right.
So apparently it's May in the US till August. Some
August.
people say
Yeah.
September. So that was my number two. And again, that set up another 4 years worth of movies.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it my favorite Marvel movie? No.
And I don't think Iron Man's my favorite, but when it came to like the experience I had in the theater watching it, that was hard to replicate. And the buzz in the community at large, not just the comic community, but the community at large, like everybody was talking about these movies.
People started hunting down Marvel comics who don't normally read. So it brought new readers in, which
Oh,
is
for sure.
was great for a hobby that, was struggling to
100%.
bring new people in and get kids
Yep.
into it because let's be honest, the big two don't have kid titles.
No, not so much anymore. Everything seems to be written for the original fans.
Also, just a little moment here. I just happened to see it. Michael Madsen died,
Yeah.
age 67. He will always be Mr. Blonde. And every time I hear "stuck in the middle with you," I'll just picture him dancing with the razor blade.
Yep.
Great character actor. Tarantino loved him, and like you've seen him in a million things. You've heard him voice acting stuff. Gut punched me the last 2 days between him and then Jim Shooter, the editor in chief for Marvel, passing away the other day, which
Yeah.
big loss.
Oh, for sure.
Especially for you being a Secret Wars collector.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to meet him a couple of times at cons and get some stuff signed in MegaCon in Orlando. I got to
Insanely
chat with him
tall.
a bunch.
Insanely
Yes,
tall gentleman.
big guy. Yeah, for sure. But his lines were never long, and he was always happy to talk for extended periods. So I got a couple of great conversations with him.
I was close to getting him on the show for a spotlight.
Oh, that would have been cool.
His health started kind of going downhill.
Sure.
And I saw Bill Sienkiewicz drew a portrait of him today, and he's like, "I can't even talk about him today because I cried making this because I don't have a career without him."
Wow.
Famously, you'll hear about how much John Byrne hated his guts because he actually challenged John Byrne and didn't let him do whatever the fuck he felt. That's true. Deaths usually come in threes. I don't want to think about who the third will be.
Maybe there was one right before that we didn't recognize as part of.
Usually, it's usually a musician. So we'll see. Unless there was one earlier that happened, and this is just catching up. So it's that time. What is your number one?
So I'm cheating a little bit because what I'm choosing technically is the Spike and Mike Festival of Animation, and some people may not know what that is or have never heard of it. It's also sometimes called the Wicked and Twisted, Sick and Twisted Film Festival. And the idea was every year these gentlemen, they were from my area of California, would cull together the best animated shorts of the year and put them together into 1 2-hour screening and then send them around the US. And give the people the opportunity to see them. And they were always playing during the summer at the local theater near me, this really tiny theater right on the water in Newport. And you could go and do the fun zone stuff, ride the Ferris wheel. You could go kayak and surf or whatever. And then with your sandals and your wet bathing suit, stroll into the theater and watch Spike and Mike's Festival of Animation. And this was a big deal because a lot of people got their starts. It's where I saw all the original Pixar shorts, the
when they were owned by
Apple.
Lucas.
Well, yeah, Lucas, and then it was Jobs.
Yeah, Jobs owned it, and then Jobs was like, yeah, because Lucas was like, I don't know what to do with this. It was like, here, buy it, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was like, all right, I guess I'll take it.
Sure. And so I know this is technically a winter release. This came out in the winter, but I had already felt like I knew the Pixar before I saw it because I had seen so many of their little shorts, the little Tin Soldier one that was like, I had seen it so many times because it was so popular. Every year they would have like the Luxo Junior Lamp short and things like that. So it's called the Spike and Mike Festival of Animation. And it was always a fun experience. My whole family would go. And if you went to the Sick and Twisted one, you got foul language, you got nudity, you got all the R-rated stuff. So it was a fun movie going experience, unlike any other. And it felt like summer to me to go and get, chocolate covered frozen banana at the banana stand, like in Arrested Development.
It's always money in the banana stand.
That's legitimately based on the area of Newport Beach I'm talking about, where they have the frozen bananas and you get them on a stick right there. And this little tiny one screen movie theater rocked that joint every summer with these animated shorts, and it was just phenomenal. And again, for me, that's how I discovered Pixar and all of their early films. So I know that a lot of guys and gals got their start there. A lot of people felt like they would not have been around. Tim Burton had shorts in it, Andrew Stanton. So there's a lot of Nick Park, a lot of those guys who later went on, to do Wallace and Gromit or whatever, had their first original shorts appear and travel around the world through Spike and Mike's animated festival, a festival of animations.
I think eventually those started getting put on TV like super late at night.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And again, it started with these guys like doing it out of their house, and then they would get the rights to these shorts and they'd have to figure out a way to splice them together. And then they could make a few reels of them and then send them around the country to these fun little theaters. And only the coolest theaters I know would run them. And for me, it was always summer. You'd see these things. It was fantastic. So Pixar for me is summer. And then as my girls got older, Finding Nemo and all their big summer releases just seemed to follow suit.
So for me, the biggest theater event for me was the 1989 Batman by Tim Burton. Like, sure. Batmania had hit. I was living in New York at the time. People were shaving the bat symbol into the back of their head. People were wearing Batman patches, and me being a comic book nerd that was kind of sheltered and felt underappreciated. I was like, oh, they're all my people now. No, they just thought that was cool for a moment. But it was just like this momentary thing where Batman was cool. And then I went to it, and in hindsight, the movie's okay. But at the
it has a ton of nostalgia vibe to it. You have to give it all the nostalgia credit.
It was just this cultural moment. I remember waiting on was it Ebert or was it ET Entertainment Tonight to watch the little trailer for the first time, because you had to watch it at a certain time at like 7 p.m. And the first time I saw the Batmobile, the Anton Furst design of the city, I bought all the behind the scenes making of magazines by Starlog at the time. Like,
I love it.
I was just so into it, and I think I saw it 7 times that summer.
Wow, I might have seen it twice, but definitely nothing close to. I don't think I've ever seen a movie that many times.
I had no friends. I had nothing to do, so I'd go to the theater. I'd watch it and just kind of, and then every time I was kind of like, huh, that's not very Batman. He's got a machine gun. And I was like, gotta dial back a bit. But I think that really kicked off me reading DC titles, because I kind of read Batman at the time, and then all of a sudden, like, I was reading that, Titans.
Sure.
I was a Marvel zombie.
Me too. Yeah, me too. But it did connect me to things like Batman Year One and stuff like that. I think that
definitely
led me to go hunt down those kind of trades.
There's just one line in that movie that still makes me cringe every time I hear it. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
But the Prince soundtrack.
Oh my God. So iconic.
I just see them going, Prince, we wanted more Batman. Oh, you want Batman? I'll give you Batman. Bathe you in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. The only thing that really irked me and I didn't love it as a kid. I liked it a ton, but I didn't love it, was the fights didn't seem to match the character for me, because it was a lot of like, he looked like he was wearing a neck brace and he's like,
no, he can't move.
A lot of this.
So yeah. It was all like,
I got to do like I have one block, one punch, and one kick move, and that's all I can do. And everything is on repeat. Those 3 moves is all I got.
And Stallone eventually said that movie ruined action films, because you didn't have to be built anymore. You just get this suit that makes you look like you're ripped.
Oh my goodness. I think your screenplays might have done some of that work for you, Sly.
Hey, stop or my mom will shoot.
I've seen The Specialist.
Oh my God. Have you seen Assassins with Antonio Banderas?
Antonio Banderas. Antonio Banderas chews more scenery than they have scenery in that movie. Julianne Moore, right? Julianne Moore's in that one.
Oh yeah, that's where he has that gift that came. There was another movie that really came close to being my number one.
Okay,
Muppets Take Manhattan from 1984.
Oh, fun pick.
Because that was a big thing. I had the McDonald's Happy Meal glasses.
Okay, well then, if we're doing you go ahead and talk a little bit about Muppets, and then I'll do my runners up. My runner up.
So that was a movie, like the Muppet Show, I think, had been off the air for about a year by then.
Yeah, that seems right.
And they were like, we're going to make a Muppet movie. And I'm first or second grade when it came out. No.
Because this would have been the third Muppet movie, right? It was Caper. It was the second, right?
No, Manhattan was the first.
Well, no, it was the Muppet movie. And then it was... The Muppet movie came before Muppets made Manhattan. The original movie is the Muppet movie. And then it was either Caper or Manhattan.
Oh, you're right. 1979. So yeah, it was Muppets Take Manhattan. So that was the third one.
Okay. So Caper was the
second.
Caper was the third.
Hold on.
I mean, I saw all of them, but most of them I saw later. I don't remember seeing any in the theaters until.
Well, I was also living in New York.
Jason Segel made his.
1981. So yeah, 1984. I would have been 8.
Okay, so what was the order? It went Muppet movie,
Caper in 81, and then 84 Muppets Take Manhattan.
Okay, so it was Manhattan was the third one. Okay, got it. Okay.
Muppet Christmas Tale was way after that, Corey.
I love a Muppet Christmas. I think Michael Caine does not get enough respect for what he does in that movie. He really
Michael Caine doesn't get respect for a lot of stuff.
This is true. This is fair.
1992 Muppet Christmas Carol. Okay. So living in New York, having the Muppets in Central Park, and going around, and it was just a fun movie. And listen, Waldorf and Stadler and Sand Eagle, you put them in anything, they're like my spirit animals.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I just watched a Frank Oz movie today. I watched Death at a Funeral, which is hilarious. The original, obviously, is the one that Frank Oz did. The remake is Neil LaBute. But
not Neil LaBute.
Yeah, the black one that has they just replaced everybody as with black actors except for they kept Peter Dinklage as the same role in both movies. Do you know the story? Do you remember it at all or no?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's like a dad's a funeral. The whole thing takes place at the funeral where the dad has just recently, passed, and Peter Dinklage is the gay lover who shows up at the funeral asking for money, or he's going to blackmail them with photos of the relationship he had with the dad.
Oh, shit.
And the funeral, everything's going like wonky at the funeral. It's a very slapstick comedy kind of thing, but the original is very British, and the remake is very Tyler Perry. But the cool thing about Peter Dinklage is he plays the same part in both movies.
Peter Dinklage is in one of the most amazing movies I have ever had the.
He's a phenomenal performer. I mean,
no.
I'm assuming you're talking about Station Agent.
No.
Oh, Elf?
I'm talking about the one with Gary Oldman called Tiptoes.
I've never seen this.
Kate Beckinsale's in it. Oh. It's Gary Oldman. Oh, no, wait. No, Peter Dinklage isn't it. Sorry. It's Gary Oldman playing a little person, and Matthew McConaughey's his full-size brother.
Never heard of it.
It's fucking terrible. Matthew McConaughey is doing a I'm a little person. And he keeps saying that. And he's like, no, you're full size. No, Dinklage.
But I was just mentioning Frank Oz.
Station Agent was good.
As a great, filmmaker, and obviously the voice of half of the major Muppets. Frank Oz is epic talent. And then he appears in a lot of movies too, like the Blues Brothers, and he's got a great just a way as a performer. So yeah, love the Muppets. I miss him too, Corky. I miss him too.
What's your runner-up?
So I waffled between my number, because I felt like my number one was a bit of a cheat, even though it was a summer movie experience that meant a ton to me and had a big impact. I felt like maybe I needed to pick a more traditional one. So the one that got bumped off the list was It's Not Summer Without Tom Cruise, gang. And I am a Tom Cruise stan. I'm sorry that I love Tom Cruise. I would have picked Ghost Protocol, but technically that was a fall-winter movie. So I'm going with my other favorite, which is Rogue Nation. These movies are just candy for me. Like, give me a summer with a Mission Impossible movie, and I'm a happy camper, gang. Like, even the worst Mission Impossible movie is better than most other movies. And I'm going to be happy. I'm going to get my popcorn. I'm going to get my soda, and I'm going to watch Tom Cruise do stupid shit and nearly break his freaking neck. And I'm in. And I'm in for it. And for me, the best two are Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation. The stuff that he does, the stunts that he does, the action sequences, so cool and exciting. The visual spectacle is so incredible. So yeah, I'm going with my runner-up is almost anything with Tom Cruise, but specifically Mission Impossible. And I saw the new one. It's one of my least favorite Mission Impossibles, but still worth the money.
I love in Fallout where you can see where he broke his foot.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Fallout was a fun one. I really enjoyed that one. And
Henry Cavill's great. That fight in the bathroom is incredible.
Part 3 would not be as good if it didn't have
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman just
so good. And that
every interrogation scene with him.
JJ and Philip Seymour Hoffman re-energized that franchise because John Woo tried to put it in the grave early, and then I think they reinvigorated it. And then Brad Bird came in with number 4, which was so great. Ghost Protocol, so great. And then Rogue Nation for me is one of my favorites. So it's just the stunts, the spectacle. It's what you want from a summer movie experience. I'm sweating in the seat. I'm shoveling in popcorn, and I'm just absolutely captivated.
Do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
You got a wife?
A wife. Someone you care about. Oh, I just did it as Giovanni Ribisi.
I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna hurt her. I'm gonna hurt her real bad.
Fucking kill her. I'm gonna kill her.
Yeah, like it's so.
Yeah. And he's that opening sequence where he's just counting down. Like, 7.
To be honest, like he was always my pick to be the Penguin.
Ooh, he would have been great. I mean, he could have done anything. He was really one of those performers that had no fear and could do anything as an actor. And there were so many, whether it was comedy, you see him with Ben Stiller, being hilarious in comedies. You can see him carrying his own in dramas like Doubt. And then of course,
Doubt was.
Oh my God!
That
right? He doesn't get enough love for that movie. Of course, he gets a ton of love for Capote.
Mark
But
Ruffalo was actually really good in that movie, and
mhm.
I don't think Mark Ruffalo gets enough love for Zodiac.
I mean, I'm a Zodiac stan, and I'm a Spotlight stan. Those are two movies.
Spotlight was
Those are two movies that I tend to go, despite being incredibly heavy and dark. I tend to
Rachel
rewatch.
McAdams was good in Spotlight. I think that was McAdams in
Phenomenal,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
phenomenal, yeah, so great, so great. And Michael Keaton yet again. But
Yep.
for me, yeah. So Mission Impossible, Summer, and Tom Cruise and spectacle, it all goes together. And I've never been so disappointed with the money I spent going to see a Tom Cruise movie in the summertime. It's never
No,
happened.
you're gonna leave entertained. Like,
Yeah.
do I mean, acting wise, I still think he plays villain. I think he plays villains better than he may want to be, because I still
Right.
think Collateral
Oh,
might be his strongest acting role, because he's
for
having
sure.
fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's my
Tropic
favorite performance of
Thunder,
his.
he was having fun, and I kind of thought he was having fun in Interview with the Vampire.
Definitely. I
It
think
was
it's
out of
nice when
character.
actors can stretch their legs a little bit and do things kind of outside the box. So for sure, those are great. I think the most range I've ever seen him demonstrate is in Rain Man. I think he gets overshadowed by Dustin because Dustin's doing something so interesting. But if you watch Tom's, like, he plays every emotion in that movie, and he plays every moment, and he's such a scumbag that you can't stand, and you watch him like evolve in that movie, and he has all these amazing monologues and all these great moments, and it's all done really beautifully. And I think if people think he can't act, they need to go check out Rain Man again,
There's also
because
the
he
movie
just
they don't.
crushes it.
There's a movie they don't talk about that he did, that Born on the 4th of July with Oliver Stone. Like,
Sure.
I don't think it's his greatest performance, but I thought that was the most range he's had to do, because he had to put the makeup on and everything.
Oh, it's impressive. Yeah. I mean, and obviously he was nominated for Magnolia, and he's pretty fantastic in that, and he has some truly incredible sequences in that.
I honestly wanted him to play Dr. Doom.
I mean, again, I think given the right frame, I think he works better when he has more control over the product. As
I just would have loved to see him do a villain range with him versus RDJ, kind of like.
Sure. I just think he tends to be worse when he is at the whim of a filmmaker that he doesn't necessarily. So with a producer group like Marvel's got, I think he would struggle in that design.
Probably. It's just the thought of like him playing a villain, but I think having to wear all that gear and shit probably.
I know they want him to reprise that Tropic Thunder role at some point. I hear rumors of like
that would be funny.
A standalone movie with him as the focus, or another Tropic Thunder adjacent film or something.
All
right, so there you go. There's our runner-ups.
All right, it's gonna get real Spielberg in this motherfucker in a minute.
Right.
So I'll start this off because I shared a video with you the other day that pissed me off.
Okay, let's get into it.
Someone made a video, Wolfman's Got Nards, that Jaws is overrated.
Well, that person's an idiot.
Jaws is a summer movie. There is so much wrong with this movie that ended up going right, which I think that's the beauty of it. When you have restrictions, the fucking shark never worked, because they never tested to see if it would work in salt water. Bad mistake.
Yeah.
Robert Shaw is so good. And apparently drunk on set every day, that he had to come back in and apologize, and they had to redo the entire USS Indianapolis.
I heard that, yeah.
The movie went 100 days over shooting schedule because shooting on the water, and Spielberg was warned, you don't want to shoot in open water. You don't want to do it, but he wanted to have the authenticity. Roy Scheider was scared shitless of water. Couldn't swim. And apparently, oh my God, Hooper. Dreyfus was a royal pain in the ass.
I hear that Robert Shaw was intentionally antagonistic towards Dreyfus and spent basically his entire time not shooting, trying to piss off Dreyfus. And as a result, created this cantankerous relationship that bled over into everybody's lives outside of the shooting. And of course, works when they're filming scenes because the two characters don't necessarily like each other or can't respect each other, but doesn't necessarily make for a cohesive film set when those two are both on set together a lot.
And apparently every time they were drinking on set, Shaw was actually drinking.
Yes.
He was very method.
Yes. But I hear that it, like you said, they had to go back and reshoot a whole scene, and as a result, they stopped letting him do it the rest of the shoot because he crapped the bed.
But my God, that USS Indianapolis speech on the boat.
So good.
It's a fucking thing of brilliance. And I don't know if it's true or not, but that Roy Scheider, we're going to need a bigger boat, was improv.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because he turned around and saw the fucking animatronic actually working.
I mean, the movie is a ton of happy accidents. And I think that, it was a perfect storm in a lot of ways. And
less is more worked.
And I think it's a testament to the skills of the music, the skills of the editing.
John Williams.
Yeah, I think you have a director who's able to like make the best of the situation that he's in, and then an editor who's able to work with a composer and craft sequences that are riveting and horrifying. Even right up, I don't know if you know, like 3 months before the movie was released, they were getting these amazing responses in test screenings. They went back, they jumped in the pool, and they shot the moment when Hooper finds the dead body in the boat at night. Like the face like pops out and scares him. All he originally found was the tooth, and that was it. And they went in and they went to the producer's house where she had a pool, and they covered it, and they shot at night, and they jumped in with the diver, and they shot this thing in like, a couple of days. That ended up becoming another jump scare added to the movie.
And also they had this Australian marine diver who specialized in sharks. So a lot of that footage was done from this diver of sharks in the water.
Oh, wow.
That they bought from him and used. He was credited.
Okay.
He passed away 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
But most of those shark filming was stuff that he filmed in Australia.
Oh, wow.
And not Martha's Vineyard.
Well, sure. I mean, you're going to have a harder time, getting what you want with sharks in that area than down in Australia, where you probably can find them a little more easily.
And also, I think one of the things that interests me is the politics of that town.
Of course, the mayor is such a great antagonist.
We're not closing down. We're going to be the mayor of Sharktown.
Yeah. I think you're going to ignore this particular problem until it swims up and bites you in the ass.
Yeah. And then that part where Hooper walks up, he's like, no, that's a tiger shark's teeth. What we're going after is way bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, so many great scenes. And I think I think for me, the biggest treat on rewatch is just the skills in the editing, because it's a very patiently edited film. There are, the sequence when he's having dinner and his son is mimicking him, and then Hooper comes in and pours the glass of wine because he brings in red and white and he doesn't know what they're going to have, and he takes Hooper's food and he starts eating Hooper's food. There's a ton of like silence in the sequence, and it's so masterfully edited. Yeah.
Get out of the water when he's running.
And then you have that long one shot where they're cutting open the shark and going through its gullet. And there's so many of these sequences that are so, there's just a ton of insight, both from the filmmaking side and from the editing side, to make this work. And it's a masterpiece. And anybody who thinks that it isn't is a moron. Let's just admit it. They're just trying to be a hot take individual.
I think it's a horror channel that did it. This isn't a horror movie. It's not. It's a suspense movie.
That's fair.
And I know we've talked about, is Zodiac, is Seven a horror movie? It's a thriller.
I'm fine with the delineation, given the fact that I would say I like, at this age in my life, at this time in my life, I prefer suspense and thrillers, and those movies have more skill and talent behind them. The Hitchcock kind of style of filmmaking versus a slasher horror film. a body horror movie loses interest with me really quickly. It doesn't sustain. It might stick with me graphically, but it's not going to stick with me on a long-term basis like something like Signs of the Lambs or Jaws.
And I'll tell you, the opening scene with the girl out in the water, it gets you right at the beginning. And I think that's the thing, because it's a slow-moving movie.
Sure.
But that right there, all of a sudden you're invested, because you're like, well, shit, someone just died in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Right. The beautiful blonde lady. Done. Yep. And that, I think also this started to have the tropes of the summer movie, the summer slasher movies, the horror movies of like, the violence at the beginning, the blonde girl's in danger, that you're too promiscuous. Oh, now you're running the risk of the killer getting you. All of the tropes of like summer spectacle kind of stuff that later, we can get into Lucas and later Spielberg stuff, but like, yeah, Jaws started the trend in a lot of ways.
Yeah, there is a documentary on the 4K and the Blu-ray releases called
Is this the fish is working or the shark is working?
The Shark is Working.
Yeah.
Which you can see how pissed off the DP is, all of them, because again, the person who designed Bruce the shark never tested it in salt water. They test it in a pool.
Yep.
And it's just, and I love that, so I think the beauty of John Carpenter's Halloween is he did it on $30,000. He worked within his limitations.
Yeah.
The same thing with Jaws, I think, works with this. They worked with its limitations. And also, I think it worked because if you saw the shark more, I don't think it works as much. When that motherfucker comes up on the boat and eats Robert Shaw at the end, it's like, or when it pops up right next to Roy Scheider's head when he's chumming the water.
Yep.
It's so much more effective. Or when they're shooting it with the tracers and hooking the barrels up to it, and you just see that fucker racing by. There is so much adrenaline popping, because I'm watching at home and I'm just leaning forward, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I echo John. If you think this is an overrated movie, you either don't like film or you
watched it the wrong way. Let's be honest. If you watched it on your phone for the first time, you fucked up. I do know that somewhere in Austin, I want to say they do an annual screening in a giant,
at the beach.
In a giant swimming area where they have an inflatable screen.
And a waiting pool where everybody's in the water
watching it. And apparently it's one of the most insane ways to watch the movie. The experience is on another level if you weren't able to see it in the theater, which I never have seen it in the theater.
They also have people swimming with shark fins through the water.
Yep. So
it's at
do yourself a favor if you can see it in an unusual way like that. Like my local theater was running a lot of Spielberg this summer, and they ran it, and I wasn't able to go, but that's
they do a showing on Myrtle Beach in South Carolina too, on the beach.
Nice.
But so that's my it's a go-to, especially Labor Day weekend.
Perry, back again.
Hey, back again today. Glad you were here for my interview earlier.
If we're going summer blockbuster 1A, 1B, it's Jaws and then it's Star Wars, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you don't. These movies dominated Star Wars every year. They've dominated the theater. Sorry, every year they came out, and it was May when this one dropped, or maybe it was right near my birthday, June, somewhere in that range, and then 3 years later, and then 3 years after that. These movies are summer spectacle, and I did not get to see one of these in the theater until Return of the Jedi.
I saw Empire in the theater, and I cried. And then Return of the Jedi was much more subdued because they were little teddy bears.
I was the right age for the teddy bears. I was probably 7 when I saw that one.
I was right about your
So
age, maybe a year older.
it didn't bother me as much, but I would have loved Wookiees if it had been instead. But yeah, I came close to choosing Return of the Jedi, but in the end, I felt like, you know what, these belong in the second category, what we're talking about now, which is movies that represent summer cinema in some way or another, or represent the feelings that we want to get from a summer movie, right? Whether they came out in summer or not. So for me, if 1A is Jaws, for me 1B is anything in the Star Wars range. Anything in that range fits.
I mean, so here goes 1C, Indiana Jones, because all
Which
of them
one?
except for part 2 came out during the summer.
And I got them right here. Yes. Let's
Okay,
do
so
it.
I have to ask you the hard question.
Sure.
Raiders or Last Crusade, which is your favorite?
It's not a hard question for me. It is Raiders without a doubt. Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of my all-time favorite. It's a top 3 all-time movie for me. However, if we're talking summer movie going experiences, I saw Last Crusade in the
Last
theater.
Crusade in the theater for me. So that and Sean Connery in there.
Seeing James Bond in there, and this was a wonderful movie going summer experience. But the superior filmmaking is Raiders. It is a masterpiece. It is a top 3. It's Shawshank, and it's A Wonderful Life. Those are my trinity. Those are my 3 that I'll go back and watch again and again and again and find new things and be blown away with. So this is my top 3 for me.
For me, it's To Kill a Mockingbird. That's in my holy
That's
trinity.
A great one. No shame in that game. But yes, I do think 1C would be Indiana Jones, period. Like Star Wars, Jaws, Indiana Jones for sure.
And also after Raiders of the Lost Ark, Harrison Ford's like, fucking kill me. In Star Wars, just get rid of Han. He has no family. Fucking kill him. I'm ready to go. And
I was just rewatching Last Crusade today, thinking about this show with you tonight, because I was like, I remember distinctly seeing it in the theater in 1989. So I would have been 12. River Phoenix gang. Let's just take a moment.
Young Indy.
I was struck more than ever this time through. And he had already done a movie with Harrison. He had done Mosquito Coast, where he had been, Harrison's son for this really arduous film shoot. And you watch him play young Indy, and he has probably 10, 20 moments where he has a delivery of a line or a facial expression that is so Harrison, like it is so much stewed in Indiana Jones. You can tell he's been watching these movies a ton, and that he has been observing Harrison Ford in action for such a significant time. He channels Harrison in so many little phrasings, in so many facial expressions, and in so much in his delivery. You're like, this kid's amazing. And he is, it's no wonder that this spun into Young Indiana Jones Chronicles TV series. Of course, they couldn't get him to play the character, but it's no wonder that they had now this television show. He is so captivating in this performance.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall was
I think this is a great point, Corky, that I do think when we think summer movies, we often get so wrapped up in the spectacle, action, adventure, franchise movies that comedy gets lost. I think there's that we are in a blockbuster. We're in a tragic phase in cinema going history where it's blockbuster, franchise or bust at this point. And we're not getting the thrillers we used to get. We're not getting the courtroom dramas, the romantic comedies, or the farce comedies, those gross out comedies. We're not getting any of that stuff anymore. And you used to get this stuff year round. It was like every month, Julia Roberts got the new romantic comedy. Hugh Grant has got a new romantic comedy. Al Pacino's got a new courtroom drama, whatever.
Ooh-ah.
And I think we lost that when film became all about, properties, intellectual properties and franchises. We lost these fun subgenres.
Perry, your comment hits home so much because after I went off the air this morning with Caitlin, we started talking about horror movies. or actually, we might have been talking about how did this get made podcast, but I started talking to her about Sleepaway Camp, and I was trying to dance around the ending of that damn movie. Oh, it's a rough one.
I don't know if Flipper or Free Willy were summer movies, but that makes
Free Willy was because there was a Michael Jackson movie song that summer.
Yes. Okay. That seems real. I've only got 3 movies left that I want to bring up, but I don't know how many you've got.
There was.
Oh no, I've got 4. I've got one that I don't own that I have not gotten here.
Going back to the River Phoenix part, part that I loved is when the guy who influenced Indy, where he goes, "You lost today, kid. Doesn't mean you're going to lose again." He gives him the hat.
Yeah.
And then
the jump to Harrison. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so well
done. That.
It's a phenomenal film, and it's easily the best Indiana Jones sequel. When people talk about, like, we were joking about franchises before we went live because I saw somebody talking about the Jurassic Park franchise and how much they love it. I'm like, gang, look, I included Jurassic Park on my list of my 5 favorite theater experiences, but that's because it's 1 phenomenal movie, 2 barely mediocre, almost bad movies, and then several downright horrible, awful theater going experiences. Indiana Jones, on the other hand, has 1 absolutely phenomenal movie, 1 really close to phenomenal movie, 1 fairly entertaining movie, and then
Crystal Kingdom.
2 fairly mediocre bad movies. So it's a far more consistent franchise than something like Ghostbusters or Jurassic Park or Fast and the Furious, whatever. Not enough, and again, carried on the back of 1 guy. Well, if we throw in Lucas and Spielberg, 3 guys, but like it's carried on the back of Harrison Ford. It's not like Jurassic where they change the leads every movie and they pick a new actor to come in. And, it's gonna be Jeff Goldblum this time. No, it's gonna be Sam Neill this time. No, it's gonna be Scarlett Johansson now. That's BS.
Yo, Heavyweights was a fun ass fucking movie.
So good. All right, so I got 4 left. How many do you have left that you want to go through?
Way too many, but go ahead. It's your turn anyway.
You want to pare it down, or okay? I'll go with one that was mentioned at the top of the show. Somebody in the chat mentioned the fact that we're getting a movie next Friday. But gang, this speaks summer to me. I don't even know when this movie came out. Maybe it was summer, maybe it was not. I don't really care. This feels like summer to me. And I watch this movie, I get all the summer feels. I get all the kid feels. This movie, I know that I speak about this movie a little too much as a comic book and movie nerd. This is my favorite comic book movie still to this day. It is fantastic. It's just superb.
It's got a lot of heart.
Yeah, Gene Hackman, Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder. Like, come on, gang. I don't need anything else. The Donner, of course, crushes it. This movie is fantastic, and this feels like summer, even if it's not, and even if I never got a chance to see it in the theater because I was like 1, right? 1978, is that what it is? Superman 78. So I was 1. This feels like summer to me. It gives the vibe of summer.
So I've got one. I don't have the actual disc.
Okay.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a summer
pick.
movie.
Yeah, because it's the end of the school year. He's getting a day off. Yeah.
First movie that was breaking the 4th wall.
True.
Consistently. Is this Ed Rooney? With Cameron and him.
Oh my God. When Cameron was in Egypt. So good.
So that was.
Did you know? What's the woman's name? The actress who plays his Sloane.
Mia Sara
in the story. Mia Sara married John Hansen. Brian Hansen. Jim Henson's son, Brian Henson. So we connect our Muppets lore here.
And she was a legend.
Ferris Bueller. Yes, she's great. I've met her because Brian Henson does great charity work, and I've connected to him through that. And she comes and supports him. But it's fun to see that the Henson family connected to someone so great on the acting side.
Your go.
I'm gonna save these other two that I got discs for last. The one I don't have a disc for, the one that reminds me of summer, because it's so schlocky, because it's so ridiculous, because it's so 90s. I have to have at least one Michael Bay reference, gang, and we're going with Armageddon.
Oh no, I hate that movie.
It's so bad. It's so hilarious, but it's not his worst movie because it's actually watchable. Like it's just ridiculous. You have to take the stupid pills and just watch this movie. It's gorgeous, stunningly photographed, ridiculously acted.
The first time we sent Steve Buscemi into space.
I mean, it's so hilariously bad. The Russian cosmonaut who's basically just drunk and living in a tin can in the space station. It's just hilariously bad. But like, gang, if it, I know you put ID4 here on the poster, and I thought about ID4 because
I did too.
It gives those vibes like that shitty Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie. But for me, taking the cake of all of those, the one I would watch more recently probably is Armageddon. So there's a little Michael Bay love because he deserves an honorable mention in the discussion of summer movies. Is Michael Bay.
I can't bring up that Godzilla movie without Bearded here, so he can start doing the Puff Daddy song with Jimmy Page.
So bad, and I am ashamed to say it's a movie I saw probably 4 times in the movie theater because it was in the phase when every Friday, whatever new movie was coming out, I was seeing it on Thursdays at midnight. And then if somebody missed out on seeing it, they would ask to see it the next day. And so there were weekends when I would see a movie 3 times. I saw, Men in Black several times that opening weekend. And damn it, if I didn't see Godzilla too many times that first weekend. It was foul. That movie's awful.
I walked out on it.
Well, imagine having to walk in on it more than 3 times. It was painful. Matthew Broderick, do better. But anyways, yes, Armageddon. I got to give a little Michael Bay. I'm not going to give any of his Transformers movies any love. I'm certainly not going to talk about Pearl Harbor, but I'll give him Armageddon as far as a movie that is rewatchable, even if you're willing to take the stupid pills before you do it.
I have the dumbest movie that I love more than life itself.
Let's do it.
Better Off Dead.
Oh, yes.
I fucking love that movie.
John Cusack all day, gang. You could there's a lot of John Cusack you could go with. Say anything.
The mother kills
Sweet
me with
16.
Like, this
16 Candles
from France. Peru.
So Peru, yes. Oh my
and
god.
Then,
Franch
hey Ricky, I'm
dressing.
sorry your mom blew up.
No, it's so good. It's so good. Do you know the street
$2
value of this mountain?
Booger.
He's snorting the snow. Yeah, it's so good.
I got brain freeze. I love this movie.
It's so good. It's hilarious.
It's so 80s. I love it. And it's a comedy. And John Hughes used to own the summer.
He did. Yeah.
Which is weird to say, but
and Cusack too, man. Cusack, I think when I was growing up, I went through a Harrison Ford phase. I wanted to be Harrison Ford. And then I went in through a John Cusack phase where I wanted to be John Cusack. Now I'm in the Paul Newman phase. I want to be Paul Newman.
Well, did you fall into the Charlie Sheen phase?
I didn't. I dodged that bullet. I was still in the John Cusack phase.
Val Kilmer had a summer movie that came out that people don't talk about. Top Secret.
I mean, it's a great comedy. Real Genius is right there with it.
Yep. Summer movie too. Like Val Kilmer owned summers for a while.
But no, Cusack and John Hughes. Yeah, John Hughes and Cusack, I mean, I love 16 Candles. He's got a great cameo in that.
Oh shit, yeah. He's one of the nerds.
Yeah. He is. Yeah, he's trying to buy the underwear.
Uh-oh. Not Perry. No, don't be a
Damn it, Perry. Hashtag winning. All right, I got 2 left. I've got the older, more sentimental pick, and I've got the more recent blow your ears off pick. What do you want?
I got the sentimental.
All right, this movie makes me feel like summer, and I wish Rod the Rican was in here because he is a sandlot.
It's on my list.
This movie is fantastic. And it's all, I mean, they even have a 4th of July fireworks sequence in this movie. It is all summer, baseball, hot dogs, Americana, even James Earl Jones with a phenomenal cameo at the end. It's just everything. It's swimming in the pool and girls in bikinis, and it
Killing me,
just,
Smalls.
yeah, I don't think it came out as a summer release, but it gives all the summer feelings. And this goes out to Rod the Rican because this might be his all-time favorite movie. This is a great movie.
So I'm going to kind of coast on that and
Yeah.
Major League.
Count it.
Dog
Count
Days
it.
of Summer.
Yeah, baby. Yes.
This is the Charlie Sheen of all things.
Right. Wild
Corbin
Thing.
Burnson.
Yeah.
I can quote this movie endlessly.
It's endlessly quotable. Yeah, for sure.
That it's summer to me. That and 8 Men Out are my staple summer movies.
John Cusack again.
Which 8 Men Out, based on a real story, fantastic baseball movie. That
and John Sayles, right? Isn't that John Sayles? I think.
Yes. Yeah. Leaves you fucking hurting by the end, feeling bad for the one guy who didn't take the money.
Yeah. So amazing.
Great exit to that movie of who's that guy hustling? Looks like Shoeless Joe. Nah, not that bum. And then Charlie Sheen's in the stands. He goes, or no, John Cusack's in the stands. He's like, he was the best.
Yeah, it's Cusack. So good.
Best I ever saw play.
Yeah. So good.
On to you.
Is it final? Are we finishing it out here now?
I have some ones I'll go through quick just to bust it out.
Yeah. All right. This for me is the most spectacle you'll get from a movie. And I'm ashamed to say that I missed out on it in summer release.
Is it The Fountain?
Or this might have made the no. But it is the rare time that I think a 4th film in a series might be the best one. This is Fury Road, bitch. This movie is unbelievable, and I am ashamed to say I missed it in the theater. I'm ashamed to say I did not get to see this on a big screen. And that's why it didn't make the previous list. But gang, this movie is balls to the wall. This movie is insane. The fact that this movie got made and that it's this flippin' given an Oscar nomination for Best Picture good is wild. And I can't imagine the sitting in the theater seeing this. It must have been just insane. Gang.
So I saw it in the black and white version they showed.
Ooh.
So funny story. This was George Miller's "Fuck You" to Warner Brothers. So I don't know if you'll know the whole story about his Justice League.
There's a ton of story to this production. Yeah.
So the Justice League movie, they were a day before shooting and they pulled the plug on.
Yikes.
And he got pissed, but he was still under contract. And he's like, well, here's my "Fuck You" movie. And Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy hated each other.
Yes. And Hardy enjoyed needling her all through the shoot.
So Tom Hardy is a method actor. That's a problem for a lot of people because they become the character. And that's Tom Hardy's way of doing things. They made peace eventually, but during the shooting, very contentious. But Nicholas Hoult is good in his role in the movie, and that's why I was like, when they cast him as Lex Luthor, I was like, you know what? I saw him be a fuckboy slave for a whole movie.
he's all. I mean, even from About a Boy with Hugh Grant, he's been a great actor from the jump.
It was a fun movie. Well, not fun, but like you were in the whole time engrossed in it, and not as quotable as Thunderdome.
Well, because there's almost no lines. It's almost just action wall to wall. 2
men walk in, 1 man walks out.
Yeah.
Enter Thunderdome. Yeah. Tina Turner had a hit song. But Fury Road, and also the side actresses they had in there playing in this
the
movie
other women in the
fantastic.
In the Escape. Yeah.
And Furiosa was a fucking great movie. I'm an
I
Anya
have not
Taylor-Joy
seen
fan.
it. I really want to watch it, but nobody else in the household has really seen the Mad Max films. I don't know if my girls are ready for Mad Max yet.
So let me know. I have the digital copy. I'll give you my
Oh,
login for it.
it's streaming everywhere these days. I feel like it's easy to
Okay,
find.
because I know Sinners starts on Max tomorrow, which
Because
if you haven't watched it, watch
I
it.
own all the other films in the series. I just haven't seen Furiosa yet, and I really want to see it. I hear it's very good.
Oh, what a lovely day! Yes.
Yes.
Also, like
Witness me.
Witness. The
Yeah.
only thing missing was Lord Humongous.
I mean,
away. Just
but
walk away.
they have the guy playing the fire guitar. For me, he's just as good. Just as good. It counts. Give it to me.
Yeah, Fury Road was a magnificent film, and
it feels like summer to me. It feels like a movie you want to see on a big screen in the middle of summer and just be like spectacle the whole way.
And Jennifer, our friend, loved this movie. Of course, it was a badass woman, so of course she loved it.
Right.
But I remember when they announced Furiosa, and she was like, Anya Taylor-Joy's in it. Oh fuck, I got to see this. Yeah, I've talked about Jen way too much today, but this was
but I agree. I think it definitely fits her aesthetic. You got a man tied up in chains the whole time. He's good looking. He doesn't say much. he's just there off to the side when you need him.
Nothing. Tom Hardy is the best eye actor because
he's so good. Yeah, it's like Dunkirk all over again.
I talked about he's just acting with his eyes.
Yeah, and his voice.
And to be honest, I fucking recommend watching this movie. Honestly, like even most of the Mad Max movies are middling to pretty damn good.
So I really enjoy it. As a fan
Road
of
Warrior
indie
to
films,
me was great.
Yeah, as a fan of indie films, I'm impressed by what they made with Mad Max, with almost no budget
George
in
Miller,
Australia.
George
Miller
Miller's
really
a
did
fantastic
something.
Director.
And the stunts, the car crashes are incredible. Then you go to Road Warrior, and he ups the ante. I think the screenwriting now becomes a star. He's able to craft a story. I think obviously Thunderdome fell off the wagon a little bit, and it became something different. They were trying to make a franchise instead of trying to make another good film.
I think also to fit her in.
Yeah. So the first half of Thunderdome, yeah. The first half of Thunderdome I like. The second half I think becomes a little repetitive and mirrors Road Warrior too much for me.
Was Lethal Weapon right around that time? Is that why he had the long hair?
I think he had already made one or two Lethal Weapon movies at this point. When he made that. But then as much as I love Road Warrior, I'm going to call this the superior Mad Max film. That this is the Mad Max film.
No, Mad Max. George Miller is in his bag in this.
Yeah.
The actors, in my opinion, are far superior to what he had in the older movies.
And I think, for those that don't know, the lead time in stunt work made a huge impact on this movie because they were ready to shoot in Australia. They were ready to make this happen. And then there was a huge monsoon season where there was so much rain that all the deserts they were going to shoot in turned green. And everything looked lush.
Crazy.
And they couldn't shoot where they were going to shoot. So they had to push the shooting back almost a year and pick a totally different location in Africa instead. And as a result, the stunt crew doing the car driving and all these other stunts had now almost a year to rehearse. And they were doing all of those pole swing stunts and all of these crash stunts so far in advance. They kept being able to up the ante. Like, well, you know what? We kind of can do this, but what if we did it this? And then before long, the cinematographers, the camera workers, the stunt people were so in sync. It elevated what they were able to make as a result.
And I think people take for granted what some of those stunt work is. And I think stunt work in general gets overlooked because if you've ever watched the extras on those Jackie Chan movies and the Donnie Yen movies,
or on the Mission Impossible movies. Yeah.
There's a Tony Jaa movie, The Protector. A guy literally gets hit by a fucking truck during it.
Oof.
And the stuntman goes, "You're keeping that in," right? As he's holding his knee.
Oh my God. Out. Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, but like those scenes, those guys' lives are in danger of bodily harm every time. So
For sure.
the stunt work with moving vehicles like that
Oh man.
is above and beyond. And from what I understand, they had no injuries on that whole set.
Well,
So
and you
that
got to think
extra year,
the cameras are right in there with them. The camera operators and the focus pullers and all the DPs and stuff, they're all right in the action. So there's a lot of risk involved in those things. And again, the lead time they had as a result of natural disaster, if you will, gave them the opportunity to perfect all those things. And then the end result is a superior set of stunt work sequences.
and also George Miller's name was shit by then. That what happened with Justice League actually fucking ruined his name.
And he had been coming off of those 2 Babe films and all the critical success and money making he made from those. And it was strange. Sorry, they're letting off some fireworks early here. I just heard
they're doing it here too, but it's been raining. So we have a tropical storm sitting off the coast right now, possibly. So, what screams
I'm done. Those are all the ones I wanted to list. Let's get into it. Yes.
The Mummy. If you want a super fun movie to turn your head off of,
I hope Perry
Brendan
is not
Fraser.
here. Yeah, Perry says this is better than Indiana Jones, and I'm not ready to hear that in the chat right now.
Fun movie. Fun fucking movie.
No, I own the first 2. I love them a ton. I think they're both
terrible.
They're both incredibly enjoyable. There's a 4th one, right?
I think there's
because they did the Scorpion King as a spin-off. And
I don't count that.
Okay.
And then there's the Tom Cruise.
We don't count that either.
Yeah.
Damn it, Perry is still here.
No, so honestly, Brendan Fraser is such a great anti-hero.
And Rachel Weisz is hot as heck, man.
Oh my god. And even her brother in the movie is funny.
He's so funny. Yeah.
Now, when they got the second one, the kid involved.
Yeah, it happens. But I actually think the second one is a tighter film and more easily entertaining than the first one. For me, I like the second one better.
But Brendan Fraser became a leading man again.
Yeah, he went right into George of the Jungle, and what's the Canadian Mountie one he did too?
Oh, not Bullwinkle. I know what you're talking about.
He had a couple of like kid film comedies based on like old animated shows.
And it's sad kind of seeing him now because how beaten up, because apparently he did all his own stunts in these movies to save money and hurt himself.
I mean, Gods and Monsters with Ian McKellen, such a great movie.
Fucking great movie. Oh,
Encino Man.
I
love Encino Man. Don't dare talk down to Encino. I'll even watch he's got a cameo in Son-in-Law with
what was it? The Whale? Shore. Not The Whale.
The one recently was The Whale. Yes, he was nominated for The Whale. Did he win? He won the Oscar.
He won. It was a very good movie. It's just sad to kind of see his physical condition and But Mummy, fun movie, fun movie. I will. Willow.
Great movie. I love it. But it feels, just because of all the snow sequences, it feels like a winter to me. But I'm sure it was released in summer.
I think it was a spring movie, but I watched it during the summer. Again, Val Kilmer, Mad Mardigan.
Oh my gosh, Mad Mardigan.
He was the hero.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies I don't think people watch anymore, but it was the year before Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves came out.
Yep.
That's a whole other thing. I'm not going to say was good or not.
Yeah, don't even dive in. But I think fantasy movies are a risk in general. Like, I love Lady Hawk, and I don't think it gets the love that it deserves.
Lady Hawk is good.
Gladiator, great one.
Not a summer movie, but I watch it during the summer. Russell Crowe,
feels like solid. Summer though. It gives the summer vibes for sure.
Lady Hawk, like, it's so weird having Rutger Hauer in a movie like that.
I love it.
Especially if you've watched The Hitcher
or Blade Runner.
Blade Runner summer movie. That and The Thing came out.
It doesn't feel like a summer movie, but it was a summer release, right? Like August, end of August or something.
Nope. 2 weeks ago was the 36th anniversary.
Holy crap!
E.T., and The Thing all came out the same weekend.
Nice.
Never would that happen today. Ever.
No, that was a lot.
Labyrinth was a fucking Jennifer Connelly. I
Jim
freely like
Henson
that.
all day. Anything Jim Henson all day.
And for the ladies, David Bowie doing the magic dance with whatever is stuffed down his pants.
And the crystal balls.
Yes. Predator, the original, 1987.
Sure. I mean, Arnold owned Summer for a long. You mentioned T2, but like True Lies, Predator.
Oh, you know what? True Lies maybe was the best summer movie because I think
it's so fun, right? Yeah. I'll even speak the praises of Last Action Hero, which is not a great movie, but is fun summer spectacle. And has a ton of good laughs if you love summer movies, you know.
And something
Dance, magic, dance. Oh wow. There
Young
it is.
Guns and Young Guns 2 make you famous.
More Charlie Sheen goodness.
But I think that's more of Emilio. Emilio Estevez was.
I mean, yeah, and Kiefer Sutherland and Lou Diamond Phillips, and yeah.
But Kiefer Sutherland played Doc Holliday, and he's no Daisy.
He's no Daisy.
No.
Not Doc Holliday, Doc Scurlock.
Oh, it was Doc Scurlock. Aliens.
I mean, James Cameron, you can give him the keys to summer as well with Avatar,
Titanic,
and
a whole
you
summer.
mentioned T2. You know, he True Lies. He definitely owned a lot of summer as well. So Corky, I definitely mentioned Sandlot earlier. Definitely don't. Hopefully, you're not behind on the stream, but I definitely shouted out that
New Jack City was a big movie.
New Jack, yeah.
And I remember Judgment Night mainly because of the soundtrack.
We're back to Emilio again.
The Crow?
Yes. God, that was like a late summer, wasn't it? Like an August release?
No, it was May.
Almost September? Okay. Wow, May. Does not feel like a May movie. It's so dark.
A movie I obnoxiously like because I still want to know something about it. The Three Seashells.
Yeah. Yep. The Three Seashells.
Three Seashells.
That's a great one for sure.
And one that, listen, Stallone during the summer, like I could mention Rocky IV, Rambo Part 2, Rambo 1. Yes, all the Back to the Futures. They were summer Zemeckis, but I think you have to put them in their own little lot like we did with Star Wars.
Right.
Because they own those summers.
For sure. Oh, for sure. No, don't worry, Corky. You know, phone call, real life matters, but Sandlot, yeah, is a great pick. And it was high on my list for sure.
I think a little bit of Back to the Future. I think Part 2 might be my favorite.
I could understand that, but I think I saw part 1 so many times before I saw part 2 that it just was burned in my brain in a deeper way.
And this is where my morbid part comes into me, and this is spell summer.
Jesus.
But it takes place during the summer.
It feels like Halloween to me, but I get it.
See, it was the people like having picnics and stuff that spelled summer to me.
Yeah, and there's a heat wave as a plot point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, anything could be a summer movie to you. Like Evolution is a movie I watch fall, summer.
Okay.
I could even put Moneyball in there, which
anything about underrated. Certain sports. Yes, as somebody mentioned in the chat, will there be sports films? I mean, ultimately, certain sports like baseball feel like summer, and a movie like Bull Durham, you could easily throw into this set. Field of Dreams, right? Same kind of thing.
I will not mention Jeepers Creepers because their director is a fucking pedophile who has been convicted of child abuse. So no. Anyhow, there are a lot of movies that have summer vibes. There is a movie I put here. I didn't show. Well, actually, there's 3. Actually, I didn't show.
What's up, Inja Binja in the chat? What's up, friend?
Oh my god,
Yeah,
Inja's here. I have not seen Inja in forever. The Fast and the Furious collection.
I mean, when you talk about summer, you have to talk franchises, and this is one of the biggest franchises around for sure.
They're entertaining. Like, they're not good. They're entertaining.
There are some of them that I absolutely adore, and then there are some of them that I can't watch.
Inja,
So
I
it's at
miss
highs
you.
and
I
lows.
haven't seen you in forever. Just saying.
Love you, girl. I hope things are going well for you.
Yeah, the Fast and the Furious, like, from the first one is fine, but the fourth one is where I say became Ocean's 11, sponsored by Axe Body Wash.
That's fair. That's fair. But I also really love like 4, 5, like 5, 6, and 7. I think somewhere in there, there's a set of them
8.
that I think are hilarious.
My guest this morning goes, "Didn't they go into space?" And one of them was like, "Kind of. They Jeff Bezos did. They went into substratus orbit." And she's like, "Too much."
Yeah, it was a bit much. There was also a sequence in, I think, 6 where Charlie and I were watching and we're like, how long is the runway they're driving down? Because they've been going down this runway for about 10 minutes chasing this airplane. At some point, the runway has to end, right?
So 100%, Corey, I would say summer is a vibe.
Yes.
So Die Hard is a summer movie, but it's a Christmas movie.
Versus Die Hard 3 is a summer movie. It even takes place in the heat of summer, and they talk about how hot it is. There's a heat wave going on. So it's Die Hard 3 is a fair summer pick, like for me.
So there is an indie movie I love.
Okay.
It's a summer movie. It's called Summer of '84.
I don't know this one.
It is a thriller, and it is a little bit Stranger Things vibe. It's teenagers, and these kids keep ending up missing in their neighborhood, and they think it's a cop who's killing these kids.
Okay.
And it's got like a Goonies vibe to it, but they're using like the G.I. Joe walkie-talkies. But it has one of the most fascinating, morbid ends I love, because they think they solved the case, and the perpetrator breaks into the house and basically tells them, not only did I get free, but you're going to have to look over your shoulder your entire life. Because whenever you don't expect it, I'm going to be there, and I'm probably going to kill you.
Oh, damn.
And it was an ending where I was like, holy shit. Like, this is morbid. And I did a review on my channel forever ago, back when I was still doing movie reviews. And the writers of the movie actually tagged me on Twitter and were like, thank you for your review. I was like, oh shit. Oh fuck, what did I say? But apparently I spoke glowingly of it. Oh, okay. La Bamba. Oh no. Sorry, La Bamba. Fucking great movie.
Yeah.
Eastside Morales.
Yeah.
Lou Diamond Phillips. Great movie.
Earlier he said Point Break, which I think is a movie I would consider a great summer movie.
Michael Bay's Transformers.
It's a lot movie. Of Michael Bay. Yeah, a lot of Michael Bay you could throw in for certain. And then also Perry said he hasn't seen Die Hard yet. So Perry, get off your ass, man. Time to make that reaction. Whoa. Make that reaction video for Christmas for next year. That's your Christmas present to me, 2025, buddy.
And Joe, we did name Sleepaway Camp, but Perry did.
Yeah.
For anybody who hasn't watched it, the whole movie's on YouTube. And I just want you to pay attention to the beginning of the movie. The person credits the movie for mom.
Okay.
Know that when you watch it, and then by the end, you're going to be horrified. Another movie. This is my last movie.
Okay.
Christine.
Ooh.
Based on Stephen King, directed by John Carpenter. Not your typical John Carpenter movie. Possessed car. No. I think Arnie, who was in Back to School playing Rodney Dangerfield's son, is the perfect protagonist / antagonist. He is the beat up nerd who gets a cool car, and the car loves him.
Yep.
And makes him cool, quote unquote. And then people start dying who fuck with Arnie. In my opinion, it's one of the best evil car movies. And it's a weird subcategory.
And
but
I would recommend, if you're a fan of it, there's a great, I think it's a Blaze or Upshot comic called Chariot.
Chariot, yes.
Out. So freaking good. Great book.
AWA for a while had a lot of bangers coming out.
It really did. And that's one that I've got a spare copy here that I tend to send. Whenever I find a copy, I buy it and I send it out to somebody.
And also there's another movie with Charlie Sheen called The Wraith, where he comes back. He wears this crazy armor and he's killing people that killed him in his other life.
Curious.
Okay. He's got like a Knight Rider car he drives around in, but it's what me and Puff called evil car movies.
Okay.
But summer movies can go on forever, because I'm sure Tombstone is a summer movie for somebody. Waterworld might be a summer movie for somebody.
Sure.
But most of your blockbusters, so actually Waterworld was a summer movie. The Postman was a summer movie.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I mean, okay.
Training Day
I don't want to ever rewatch it.
Training Day was a summer movie.
All right. Oh, Charlie Sheen and Navy SEALs.
Summer movie.
Oh goodness. That's
it's funny because, like, as you can tell by our list, we had these weird attachments to things that spelt summer to us.
Sure. As it happens.
Like, actually, there was a weird summer movie that came out that, do you remember the Jamaican bobsled team movie?
Cool Runnings. Yeah, John Candy, cool Runnings, baby. Hell yeah.
Parent Trap, 100% Freaky Friday.
Great movie. Because the movies about summer camp in general are going to fall into this category in a big way, right?
There was a Jamie Lee Curtis movie, you might remember, Blue Steel. Summer movie.
Oh, yeah.
Single White Female.
Sure. Indian Summer, if you want another summer camp movie.
Meatballs,
yes. Hell yeah.
Richard Grieco and Chase.
Okay. Easy there, buddy.
Dick Tracy.
We don't talk Grieco.
For a guy.
Yeah, sure.
I rewatched it. My feelings did not change on that movie.
I mean, look, shout out the Bearded Comic Bro. I came very close to mentioning Batman Forever. I came very close. It feels
that soundtrack
like
of the summer.
Yeah, gang, it feels like summer. I put that movie on and I feel like it's summertime. It feels fun and summery.
A movie I'm kind of mad at myself for not mentioning, Heat.
I mean, it's a great movie. Great movie. It feels more like fall to me just because it's so tragic, but I get it.
It was. So after Val Kilmer died, someone brought up that one thing of him. It's nonverbal, but facial gestures of him seeing that his house was basically raided.
Yeah.
Midsummer.
Oof. I don't need to see any. A24 is a studio where I never need to see the movie a second time. It's kind of like their trademark for me is I'll watch the movie once and then I'm never watching it again.
The Power Rangers remake, I actually enjoyed.
Oof.
With Naomi Scott. Oh, the 1995 one. You go fuck yourself. That was out of my timeline.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Picnic at Hanging Rock.
I don't know that I know that one.
I'm curious because that sounds like something that would be put out. Oh my fuck! I can't believe I forgot this movie is a summer movie. Blade.
Really? That feels like a fall.
That was Halloween. A summer movie.
Curious.
That set off X-Men. We don't get X-Men without that movie. Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, obviously, a lot of comic book movies. I tried to be light on the comic book movies overall, and I had Dark Knight and I had Iron Man and Superman. Those are my
Boondock Saints.
three, but like it's easy. So, shocking twist here, Dan. I finally saw Boondock Saints for the very first time in 2025. That movie sucks. It's not good. It's stupid. I do not like it.
30 years ago.
It's so overhyped. It's the cult movie of like a certain era where people saw it in college and thought it was freaking amazing. It's stupid, gang. Willem Dafoe needs to stop eating all the scenery in every movie he's in. Like, it did not work for me. So I finally saw Boondock Saints, and I'm just gonna stamp that movie as massively overrated.
So there was a summer movie I didn't mention because I didn't want to, because weirdos come out on it. The Professional.
I love The Professional. I think it's great. I think it's well acted. It's got great drama sequences, and it skirts the line of awkward and inappropriate, but I think it makes the right choice in the end, where ultimately he stays the father figure to her and doesn't become something wrong. But yeah, it does feel like summer.
Weirdly, I'm pretty sure Bram Stoker's Dracula was a summer movie.
Really?
I think it was.
I wouldn't be surprised, I guess, but I love it. I love that movie. I think it fits better for winter, obviously. Rocketeer, Corky, great pick. I'm in.
So there was another movie that came out during that time. I don't know if you remember the Phantom Slam Evil.
Oh, god damn it.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane can do better. He can do a lot better.
Nope. Okay, Dracula's November of 92.
Yeah, it feels like something that would fit better in that time of the year, but I get it. But this has been great. I feel like we've definitely hit a lot. The Hot Shots, yeah, Hot Shots is great.
But now that you started talking about the comedy stuff, I was like, fuck, like
I think it's overlooked because we're in an era where it's all about intellectual property, and I get it. But if you look back, those experiences, like I mentioned something about Mary. I think those are really wonderful experiences to go and see a movie like You've Got Mail or whatever that feel like summer romantic comedies. I think that genre has kind of died away, which is tragic. I don't understand.
Big.
Sure. I mean, Tom Hanks started his career with those movies like
June
Splash.
1988.
I wouldn't be surprised if Splash was a summer blockbuster.
Dr. Detroit. I'm sure Risky Business was. If Fast Times at Ridgemont High is not a summer movie, I don't know what is.
I mean, right? Dazed and Confused?
Oh, 100%. That should be.
Yeah.
Heavyweights, yeah. Oh no, Bearded.
Look, Greg, we gave you a lot of love earlier in the show. If you want to back up and hear us talk about Batman Forever and Dick Tracy, you can have those times. We're not giving you the Phantom, buddy. Billy Zane can do better. He can really do better.
All right, let me say this right now. Billy Zane kicked ass in Demon Knight. And he was a douche in Demon Knight, and he kicked ass in Zoolander.
I'll give him Zoolander. Yeah, that's what I was going to give him. Steven Seagal and Van Damme, yeah, they do deserve their just desserts. Time Cop, although Time Cop feels more fall. I
believe it was the one with Dennis Rodman was wham, bam.
Oh,
thank you, Van Damme.
And that one also has, what's his name? Mickey Rourke. Holy crap. I joked with my wife when I saw the poster for that movie that it was like 3 actors I never want to see in a movie all together in one movie means it's only one movie I have to skip. I don't need to skip 3 different movies.
Oh, Red Dawn. That was
great movie. But it feels more wintry. It feels more winter with all the snow and everything.
A little bit. Phantom Slander. Fucking what was it? Slam Evil.
It's hard.
Fucking
It's
Greg.
hard. It's hard to deal with this. I'm just glad Greg popped in. I appreciate. Before we hit the 2-hour mark, I'm glad Greg came by.
It's always the bad movies of that time.
Yeah.
I bet he loved fucking Flash Gordon too. I'm sure that was a summer movie.
I can
Double Team,
enjoy
yes.
I can enjoy Flash Gordon because of the music, and then laugh at the ridiculousness of it all. Because Queen, let's give Queen their day. That Queen
Oh,
crushed that album.
Flash.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
universe.
Give Freddie Mercury his day. But the movie is
Oh,
laughable.
Inja might have hit it there.
Well, that's Jan de Bont, right? The guy who did Speed, the guy who shot Die Hard. He was a cinematographer before he was a director.
We already hit Jurassic Park, girl.
I would put Speed ahead of Twister as far as like summer. And we didn't give enough love to Keanu Reeves when Point Break got brought up or Matrix got brought up, because obviously Keanu is a summer.
Listen, Bill and Ted was a summer movie. Part 1 and 2 were both summer movies.
But if I'm going to pick, even with the Matrix thrown in there, I'm picking Speed as Keanu's summer movie for me. And I'm a Speed fanboy. But Speed, I love
was a fun movie.
It would go Speed, Point Break, Matrix if I was going to go ABC for me on Keanu Reeves. But chat, let us know, where are you on Keanu Reeves? How do you break down his summer movies for you? What are your picks? But it's going to be Speed. It's going to be Point Break, and then it's going to be Matrix.
Oh, Masters of the Universe. You don't want to go there, Corey.
Stop this, Corky. I started to like you, man.
Frailty.
Ooh, great movie, but that's not a summer movie for me.
It came out in summer, but Gone in 60 Seconds, yes.
Frailty is an October movie for me, for sure.
They came out with a 4K of it, a steelbook.
Nice.
And you have to order directly from Lionsgate. It's fucking magnificent. It's like $50 though.
I just bought 4. I don't know if you got any Criterion during the big. Stop talking about it. I don't know why you click on his comments. Don't click on his comments.
I have to.
I got 4 Criterion DVDs in this new sale that just happened over the last week. Barnes and Noble and Amazon were doing the Criterion sale, and I bought 4 movies.
What'd you get?
I'm gonna try to remember them. I got Hitchcock's Rebecca.
Ooh.
I got Bull Durham. I got Princess Bride.
Oh, I love. So that format it came in, it was magnificent.
And I'm gonna struggle to remember the 4th one I got. Damn it! I was trying to piece it together while I was talking, and I already forgot. But I got those 3 and then one other. I'm trying to. I'll check my.
You didn't get No Country for Old Men.
No Cormac McCarthy in this house.
I bought that deluxe edition because the making of on it.
Sure. Let's see.
So the Miller's Crossing probably is my favorite Criterion that came out.
Oh, I got The Graduate.
Good one.
I have not seen The Graduate in a long time. I remember loving it, and the
so Miller's Crossing might be my favorite.
It's a
movie.
Great set. I love that. We could do a whole other fall movie. The problem with fall movies is, much like we were kind of discussing franchise action, with fall movies you tend to get a ton of horror. And how do you differentiate between a good fall movie and all the horror movies that tend to drop? Because for me, the fall movie is Scream. Like it's fun, it's dark, it's violent, it's Halloween, it's all
crazier.
The things.
It's a Christmas movie. It came out
in December, but it's still fall. It's still fall. So for me, like, Scream is the movie I think of when I think of fall. But at the same time, like you're saying, if I'm not looking at it as a month of horror or thrillers, then Miller's Crossing fits in great. Yeah, basketball and football are in full swing in the fall, so you tend to have a lot of those movies. We were doing baseball, tends to be more summer, obviously.
Yeah, so fall movies, weirdly, the program, because football, over the top is kind of nuts.
Remember the Titans for me. If I'm going football, I'm going to Remember the Titans. Oh, it's so good. It'll give you all the tears, all the feels. We're not. I can't go a lot longer. Right? We got to stop at 2 hours here, so we're running out of time, gang.
I didn't think this was going to go that long because I figured we were going to run out real fast.
Oh, I knew the second half of this conversation would get deep and fun, and where we always get in the weeds. It's kind of fun.
Well, Greg showed up. That's what happened. By the
But
way,
I've missed
Greg,
you. I've missed you, Dan. It's been a long time since we've done a show together.
Greg, you're in the
I'm
chat.
so glad you came up with this.
Greg just saw Jurassic Park. What's your ranking?
How bad is this movie? Because I'll tell you right now, I am still in the camp that there's only one good Jurassic Park movie.
Denzel Washington's Fallen is a fall movie. Yes.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
Great movie.
If I put all the Jurassic Parks movies up, there's only one that I would call good. And all the rest are below the good mark.
2.5.
The original film is phenomenal. And the other films are all dramatically subpar for me. I don't think that franchise holds water.
Every time I hear time after time is on my side, I always think of Fallen now.
Oh, he was doing fireworks tonight. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were doing Jurassic Park. Okay. Never mind. It was Carlito's at Jurassic Park, and he's probably not going to show up, but he'll still say if Christopher Nolan directed it, it would be the best.
Oh, goodness. That's why he's not.
One's always the best.
I mean, that's fair. Although I will say that we just talked a little bit about how Mad Max 4 might be the best.
So the world building going into that, though, so you can't discount the other Mad Maxes because you kind of needed all that going into
predicated
Furiosa.
For sure. Yeah, predicated on the originals.
But when you get Charlize Theron coming in, which I guess the Old Guard Part 2 just dropped on Netflix silently.
Yes. I'm so excited.
I haven't watched it yet, but she already said there's not going to be a number 3.
Oh, that's disappointing. I liked it. Volume 1 was great. The first movie was great.
And The Sandman starts tomorrow, which I don't know if I can watch.
Even hear that.
Well, because of what happened with Neil Gaiman, they're kind of keeping it quiet.
Damn Neil Gaiman, curse you.
Terminator.
You kicked it off with that tonight. So
but I never saw Terminator 1 in the theater.
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
Terminator 1 in the theater might have been a whole different...
Because it's more of a thriller horror film versus T2, which is an action film.
That's how I know what Vestron is.
All right, we got to get out of here. We are at 2:01.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's been fun. It's been a long time since I've been on stream with John talking movies.
So great. I missed this.
In general, thank you, everybody, for joining. And if you like Comic Talk, I interviewed Caitlin Yarsky this morning. If you like Wonder Woman or Bliss or Black Hammer Reborn, she was the artist for that. Which apparently Jeff Lemire is the best person to work with because he just wrote a really low script and she was able to just improvise with whatever she saw.
Nice.
I had a really fun talk with her. It was actually the shortest talk I've ever had in an hour. But we talked from everything to her comics to her favorite Buffy episode.
Nice.
But thank you. Oh God, John, what are your thoughts on Storm?
Don't even click on him. Just ignore him. Just keep walking. You just keep walking.
No, we're not talking Hulk Hogan movies.
No, none of it.
Anyway, thank you, John. Do you have anything coming up on your channel before
actually
we go?
Yeah, Saturday night I'm hanging out with Gore Vidal and we're talking about Sidney Lumet.
McCarthy?
We're doing no, I would not allow that. We're talking Sidney Lumet. We're going to do 12 Angry Men and The Verdict. We're talking about some of his courtroom dramas.
Oh, The Verdict's fucking good.
They're both absolutely iconic movies. And I'm a big Sidney Lumet fan in general.
I remember
I'm excited for it.
The Verdict being on TV a lot when I was a kid.
Sure.
12 Angry Men, not so much, but The Verdict was on a lot.
I saw when I was a kid, I saw a theater production of 12 Angry Men, and it stuck with me. And then, of course, I saw the movie, and then I saw the Showtime remake that had several great actors in the remake. Don't click on it. Just keep ignoring him.
I'm just waiting for you to be like, we're gonna be talking about Deliverance.
Nope. We're going to bed. All
right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.